Hi guys, it's Amy here with Rags and Stitches. Now we're going to start our first project, which is making a basic beginner top. We're going to do it my way, which is not going to be just square sleeves and all of that. We're going to do a very simple pattern. However, we're going to leave slits, which allows room for freedom here under the arms and down below. So if you were doing it for yourself, and that's what we're going to do it for, we're going to measure first. You're going to take your measurements, and there are many ways to take your measurements. I am not a professional. Let me say that again. I just know what fits me. So we know that we measured it earlier. We know that this, and I've already forgotten. We're going to take our tape measure and see. And by the way, normally you can iron your fabric first. This is in pretty good shape. I'm going to tilt this camera down so you can see while I'm talking to you. Okay. So this is in pretty good, as you can see, pristine shape. It's very clean, no smell. It smells good, actually. And freshly ironed it looks. Anyway, when I bought it from the thrift store. So let's turn this over. So the good news is we don't have to iron first. You can iron your fabric first. So I'm measuring, it is 32 inches across, okay? So this is folded in half, okay? It's folded in half very equally. Okay, maybe not quite so equally. We're going to make that better. So to start your first top, I recommend that you get something folded over, or you take whatever fabric and fold it in half so that we don't have to worry about matching up both sides to start with, okay? Because this is your first top, okay? So we're just getting it folded over so that the material is folded over here, so there is room to just go in and cut a neck out. That's all we want to do first, okay? So we're going to go over to my cutting area, and I'm going to move the camera, okay? Because as you know, I'm limited on space. So let's talk about your measurements before we go there. I forgot that part. Sorry. So your measurements, you're wanting to see, I mean, if you want yours to fit more snug, this is probably not the blouse for you. But as your first project, it's a good first project. So you're going to measure your bust, okay? I like to measure from here to here and then from here to here because I like to see how far I am from here on the sides, not just the front to the side. So I kind of like to get an idea. But for you, simple, measure around your bust. You're going to go from underarm to here and see how much that is. Wrap it around, and you can see and take your measurement. Then you're also going to want to see how long you want it. I start about right here. Then for the neck, I always do 9 or 10 inches. And for the sleeves, I always do 9 or 10 inches because to me, that's pretty basic for everyone. But mainly what you got to worry about is the bust and the width here. So you know your measurements. Check your measurements. I'm not good at taking measurements right now. I just know my measurements. And I kind of winged it for my mother, which I don't know how that's going to come out because it may be too small for her. So we'll see. But get your measurements. Once you have your measurements written down, then you're ready to cut your fabric. Okay, so come over here. I'm going to show you an easy way where you're not measuring all day to cut your fabric. Okay, how am I going to angle this? I don't know. Okay, we're down here on the fabric. So basically what you're going to do, and I apologize, I don't have great camera. I wonder if you'd do better if we're over here and you just, I'm going to get a stool. Hold on. And you can kind of, oh yeah, this is going to be better, guys. All right, you ready? I'm winging it. I apologize. Yes, that's better. Okay, so as you know, I use my kitchen table to cut. Okay. See if the lighting's better. off. Yeah, probably so. Okay, so what I'm going to do is find my middle. It's folded in half, which we said we were going to fix it because it's not totally down at the bottom. And it's very important for me to have it all the way to the bottom because I want mine longer. So hold on, I'm going to find it to where, there we go. There we go. Okay. Now, let's check the back side. Yes, I want my top longer. So we're going to use as much of the length as we can. So here you are. You've got it flat. Okay, find your middle point. You're going to need your pins. I have pins up here. Excuse me. I have pins up here. There you go. My little, this is a pin cushion is the name. But you know what I call this? A tuffet. I don't know why I call it a tuffet. All right. So you've got your pins, okay? So now we're going to look at the middle. Now you can do this one of two ways. You can take your flat ruler, place it here, or you can take your measuring ruler and you're going to measure again across and divide it by 2. So this is 31 and a half, to be honest. It's almost 32. It's really 31 and a half. Okay. So it's 31 and a half across, so you divide it by 2, and that's half of it. I'm doing all that. Okay. For our first project, let's wing it. So what you're going to need, your pins and your pin cushion, or I call it a tuffet. I don't know why. It's like a word I made up. So you need your pins. I also have my pin bracelet on with pins in it. You can use chalk. I have white here, but you can't see it on white. So you can use chalk. I'm not doing that this time. I'm just going to wing it. Okay. But if you feel more comfortable, get a dark colored chalk and draw it first. Draw your semicircle. But we're going to do a semicircle. I'm not measuring. I'm just winging it. Okay. But they do have a circular ruler where you could cut a better, more precise neckline. I'm not doing that because we're going to double stitch it anyway, so it leaves room for error. Okay. I'm looking straight down the middle. Okay, and I'm going to put a pin or place a pin instead of measuring and marking where I think the middle is, and then I'm going to take my ruler. I'm putting a pin in the middle. And then I'm going to take a ruler and see if I was right. Okay. That's kind of winging it. But that's the way I do it. Yep. Yep. Looks good. We're about at 16 and a half. That's about right. So that's going to be my middle. Looks pretty even. So give or take a few quarters of an inch. Okay. So I'm going to start making the neckline. I'm going to use a little chalk just to guide me. It's white chalk, but it's still showing up a bit. Just to guide me. I do not want a straight semicircle or straight line for the neckline. I want it to be a kind of high neckline. We want to make sure it's about 9 to 10 inches wide. Most people's neck, that will work. Okay, that's too small. Got to go a little bigger. So what I'm doing is just sticking my measurement tape there and marking with a 10 or 10 inches is on each side. Okay, so we know now, you can see the chart, okay? So we know now that this is where I start and this is where I finish, okay? In between there, however deep you want your neckline, I do not want mine deep, okay? I want it not deep. So we're going to just do a semicircle and connect the lines. So we're ready to cut our neck, okay? Let me turn on the light and show you. Actually, I'm going to leave the light off so you can see the chalk. And I'm going to show you what I've done. Okay. So as you can see, I've got 10 inches across for the neck. I came down and did a semicircle. That's how I want my neckline. If you want it more square, if you want it different, that's fine. Now we're going to cut. And you can pin it as you're cutting, like sometimes I pin it when I'm cutting. I don't know if I need light. Yeah. Okay, I can see it better with the light. Okay. So here it is. That's my marking. I'm going to go down and follow the chalk. Okay. Why can't I see the chalk at the bottom? I can see the chalk at the top. We're going to wing it. Okay, you're cutting in a semicircle. And if you have, allow yourself, I meant to say that, you can allow yourself seam allowance. I ended up going deeper than I wanted to. That's okay. I'm going to make mistakes. Hold on. Yeah, this is going to be a little deeper neckline, but that's okay. It'll be cute. I really wanted it closer neckline. All right, let me show you what I got. Yeah, you can see where I went a little too deep.